Alright, back at it. This is the last segment of this case. So, previously, we proved that the nurse was in on the case. Well, she was being coerced to help the auctioneer, or whoever the murderer was. She pretended to be the victim and went back to the auction after she was killed. We also found out that there was a recording device inside this broken plushie that belonged to the president of Zheng Fa when he was here in episode 1. That was presumably when, what's her name was attacked. Rosie Ringer. Time for Funky Gate Prosecutor and his Justice Bone. Oh my god. April 6th, Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, Chamber. Silence in the courtroom, please. Miss Von Karma, if you would be so kind as to update us on the progress of the search. It's not good news, I'm afraid. The entire big building has been searched from top to bottom, and no auctioneer's hammer was found anywhere. So many sprites. How did the DS render the scene? That's a good question. Maybe they probably weren't moving for the people on the jury, or on the committee. That is bad news indeed. Then we have no choice but to move ahead with the verdict. Love Von Karma, she's so pretty. Yeah, she's great. Part of the whole background layer, yeah. Such a terrible shame. But I suppose only a fool would have left the murder weapon behind. Certainly not what I'd expect from a first-rate criminal mind. No, there's just not enough to work with here. Can't carry us any further on my own. Yes, it really is a tragedy, but such is life, I suppose. I was just thinking back over the defendants I've made plea deals with over the years. People who poured their hearts out to me, who trusted me with every detail of their crimes. And then when it came to their sentencing, I recommended life in prison every time. For every single one. Do you think the murderer has it on him still? Good question. Oh, if only you could see them. The stupid, dumbfounded look on their faces. Still don't know where I'm going with that character's voice. The verdict will now be passed. All present will accept the goddess's word as law. There's nothing more I can do. Kay and I are both... If only we had some proof. Never imagined I'd be passing judgment on you under such circumstances. The end of the road, huh? By the power vested in me, Excelsius Winner, this court hereby indicts you for your crimes. What? Huh? What on earth's gotten into you, Verity? I submit for the court's consideration the case file of a certain incident. Namely, the IS-7 incident. A murder took place 18 years ago. But what does that file have to do with... Wait, you mean... Your late-night visit to this chamber, that was to... Precisely. I came here to retrieve those documents. Though sadly, it would seem that I arrived too early to catch the auction itself. When we spoke of the matter before, I implied that I had come to retrieve files pertaining to your own case. You'll have to forgive me. That was a ruse to buy myself more time. IS-7 case file jotted down... Oh great, we get to look at that again. Gregory Edgeworth, Artie Frost, Samson, we know all this, we saw the last case. Body of Artie Frost discovered in a mansion belonging to Samson Tangaroa. Persons of interest, Scone, Bound, Gusto. Notes, Carmelo Gusto and Artie Frost's sons would both visit Tangaroa's mansion up through the day before the incident. From the day of the incident onward, their whereabouts are unknown. What the heck are you doing, Gavel? You can't just accuse my dad! Without proper grounds, it's deformation! An excellent observation, Eustace. It is? And of course, I have the grounds to make such an accusation. 18 years ago, Mr. Manfred von Karma had some details about the victim's body fabricated. Details he was forced to fabricate when the sculptor Artie Frost's body went missing. My papa? Fabricating information? What's the meaning of this? Ian Seidman, the detective originally assigned to the case, did in fact report that the body had gone missing. However, it seems that a certain someone wasn't very pleased with Mr. Von Karma, and deliberately withheld that information in order to bring him down a few pegs. What? This individual refuses to allow anyone to go against their wishes, or to challenge their power. And they're known to go to extreme lengths in order to bring those who defy them to heel. 18 years ago, they were no different. In fact, they even ordered Dr. Hertz to create a fake autopsy report for the IS-7 incident. What? She was responsible for the fake report? Wait, you have to understand. Grandma, she's not a bad person. She had to do what he said. She didn't have any choice. He, the person in question, was the chief prosecutor at the time. The chief prosecutor 18 years ago. No! The man who gave Papa his first penalty of his career. Excelsius winner. It was you!
Objection!
That's right, this dude is indirectly responsible for Edgeworth's father getting shot. Because he gave Edgeworth his only penalty. Which is funny, because in the first game, when you see that flashback to when he gets the penalty, it uses the female voice. The female voice beeps instead. And also, Excelsius sounds very, like forgiving. It sounds like he's actually sad to give him the penalty. In reality, he probably was like, haha, love it. Wanted to do it. What are you all talking about? My dad would never do something like that.
Overruled.
I'm sorry, Eustace, but your opinion on the matter is not needed here. Well, Chairman Winter, do you have anything to say for yourself? All that nonsense with the body, that was Manfred's doing. Such a willful boy. And the fake autopsy report? Hilda, how could you? I can't believe you naughty kids would do such dishonest things behind my back.
Hold it!
It would be cool if they kept it consistent with the female character, but this guy's cool too, yeah. I wonder if Lana replaced Winter as the chief prosecutor, or if there was another one between them. We could just ask her why she did it. She is standing right there, right over there, after all. Wait, Grandma can't. She's out. Grandma, I'm sorry. I knew. That's why I... Right, exactly. If I didn't, everybody would have found out about what you did. They said he was going to charge you if I didn't help them with their plan. They said that he would... I just had to do what the auctioneer said. So you were coerced into it, were you, Nurse Needler? And just to be clear, the auctioneer was Chairman Winter. I'm sorry, but I honestly don't know. The person forcing me to help them was the auctioneer. And they definitely looked to be about the same build as the chairman, but I never saw their face. Well, there must be something. Any detail, no matter how small, will do. Oh, wait! Their mask didn't cover their whole face. And the part that wasn't covered had a tattoo on it. I remember that much for sure. Ringleader wore a white jacket, white gloves, a magenta flower, and a mask. Also had a tattoo on the part of their face the mask didn't cover.
Objection!
Tattoo? This all sounds very dramatic, but I really don't know what you're talking about. There's no tattoo anywhere on my face. Think I'd know if there was one, wouldn't you? Which means I can't be the ringleader, no matter how much you might want me to be. I can only hope you could figure out who might this shameless manipulator be.
Overruled.
We already have the evidence to get him, don't worry. Your contempt for this courtroom is an insult to the goddess. Are you sure it's not you who's feeling insulted here? I'm not the only one who'd been trying to bring you to justice. Miss Ringer had been trying too. And I refuse to let her sacrifice be in vain. The friggin' bald Mike emote. When did that start? Shave him, officer, shave that man. When did that joke start with Joel calling Mike bald? Because I've noticed he does that a lot now. Like, whenever he mentions Mike on stream, he shows that doctored image of him without any hair on his head. Young Rosie was looking to take me down, you say? But why? I barely knew her. I've always had a certain magnetic charm, but I don't remember her catching that particular eye. Goes longer than you'd think, really. You barely knew the victim. Why, I do believe that is a new statement. Goddess demands that you offer your full testimony on the record. So that's how this is going to go, hmm? You mean to hound me until I finally break? Well, if that's the way you want to play it. Fine. I'll destroy you all. Every last one of you! Mr. Edgeworth, please allow me to work with you on this one. I doubt we'll get another chance to put him on the stand. So let's make the most of this opportunity. Of course, Your Honor. Hell yeah, new Blaze Blue tag battle characters revealed. Edgeworth and Verity tag team. Now, Chairman Winner, you will tell this court everything you know about Miss Ringer. Everything I know about Miss Ringer. Young Rosie was a member of the committee, of course. We never really had any personal interactions, at least none that I remember. I had no motive to murder that poor girl whatsoever. And I have absolutely no idea why she was after me. So you don't mean to accept your part in any of this? Of course he doesn't. He isn't guilty. How could he be? He's my dad, the winner of winners. That's very kind of you, Eustace. Well, you'll need more than mere words if you plan to cover for me. Right, you got it. I won't let them pin this on you. I believe in you, Dad. You'll beat Edgeworth. I know you will. Yes, yes, you really are such a sweet, simple child. He really loves his dad, huh? It's no excuse for him to ignore his father's crimes. No matter how much he respects him. Regardless of their station in life, all criminals will be made to atone for their sins in time. Now this looks like the new tag team. In like Guilty Gear fucking Blaze Blue tag battle. Got Verity with the Hammer of Justice, and Franziska with the BDSM whip. This won't be easy on Mr. Winner, but it has to be done. We can't let his father get away with this. Look at that hot duo, yeah.
Hold it!
As a member of the committee, you must at least have been familiar with her face. Sure, that's about it. Saw her every once in a while. So you're saying you barely knew the victim at all? That's exactly what I'm saying, my boy, yes. Why, I never even knew about the burn mark on her hand. You didn't? I mean, what's the point? You get to know someone, but before you know it, they're gone. It's become such a pain to remember things about others. Here one day and gone the next. Yes, because they dare to stand up to you when you make them disappear. If you could please add that remark about the victim's burn to your testimony, Chairman Winner. Why, I didn't even know about the burn mark on her hand.
Hold it!
You're sure you didn't know about the burn mark? You really don't let up, do you? I'm not in the habit of memorizing who has a scar on their hand and who doesn't. But this wasn't just any old scar. I'd say it's pretty noticeable, in fact. Perhaps under normal circumstances, but now that I think about it, Miss Ringer did always wear gloves. Truth be told, I wasn't aware of the burn mark until after the incident myself. Victims' hands were always covered by a pair of gloves. Makes sense, of course. People could be very self-conscious about such things. I can only sympathize, being something of a sensitive soul myself. Hope you're not too sensitive to append that statement to your testimony. Although I suppose she was always wearing gloves, perhaps it was to hide the burn.
Objection!
Oh, that wasn't it. What do you think of this piece of evidence, Chairman Winner? Oh, let's see. I think it's absolutely nothing, and I'm sure Eustace agrees. Sure do, Dad. It's totally irrelevant. Ugh, to get swatted down by the lesser winner. Mr. Winner was really enjoying this, huh? Of course he is. He has his father to back him up here. That's just fine. I'll just take the both of them down together.
Hold it!
So you remember her always wearing gloves? I mean, it was something of a trademark of hers, yes. Who knew it was to hide a burn mark? Always imagined it was just a fashion statement. Does your little friend there have something to hide under all those bandages, I wonder? Me? No, I don't have anything to hide. You don't? Not even the stony visage of a cold-blooded murderer?
Objection!
If anyone here is hiding such a thing, it's you. And I'll expose your true face if it's the last thing I do. You never fail to entertain, my boy. Go ahead and do your worst. So Miss Ringer always wore gloves. That reminds me of something. I should look over all the evidence again. Oh, I presented the coat because it says mentions her fingerprints. But if this is her, she's not wearing gloves here. Wait, there's a second picture? Oh.
Objection!
That wasn't it either. Surely this piece of evidence completely contradicts your testimony. I don't know, Miles. Anything else? Any thoughts, Eustace? Beats me, but I guess it doesn't. Right? Thought so too. Ah, these two are the worst. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, it's okay. I'm not about to give up just yet, Kay. I'm going to prove that you're innocent, one way or another. Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
You never had any trouble with her professionally? Don't be silly, my boy. Far too important these days for such trivialities. And by all accounts, her work was unimpeachable. Besides, our differences in standing meant we hardly ever interacted. That doesn't prove you didn't kill her, does it? Well, you would say that. You would say that, wouldn't you? Anything to save your little friend, Certainly seems that Miss Ringer had some personal interest in you, at least. Indeed, indeed. But I can't for the life of me imagine why. Too bad, so sad. Without a motive, you can't logic your way into pinning this on me.
Hold it!
You have no idea at all as to why she was after you. Let's see now. Because Dad's a real catch. Suppose you could say that, yes. The admirers. They come, and then they go again. You couldn't dare dream of being like my dad. Very true. I doubt many ordinary people could be quite match his achievements. It's remarkable, really, to have so many people come into a life, and then for so many to leave it. Certainly won't complain if you choose to leave, Verity, my dear. I think it's far more likely that you'll be the one leaving today. In handcuffs. Oh! Yes, yes, very droll. But if you think I'm finished, you will be sorely disappointed. I have to think back over what we know about the victim. If you're not sure how to approach this, take another look at the evidence. You just might find a new way to interpret old information. Are you trying to help me, Franziska? I'm trying to help Kay Faraday. I could care less about you. That's not correct. That's not. It's not a typo, but it's the wrong. That's not how that phrase goes. It's I couldn't care less about you. Nice to see she really is worried for Kay in her own Franziska sort of way. She was always wearing gloves, so it's got to be the statement. We had to press two statements to get this to exist. Well, those are the auctioneer's gloves. Those aren't her gloves. It wasn't either of these, right? Actually, wait. We didn't present this one on this statement.
Objection!
No, that's not it. Okay. Okay. Alright, so I'm missing a piece of logic here still.
Hold it!
Maybe the updated autopsy report. That would be this. I already presented it. It might be the plushie.
Objection!
Yep. Because they mentioned whoever assaulted her mentions the scar, and it mentions knowing about the scar. So Miss Ringer always wore gloves. If she did, that raises a rather important question, and highlights quite a contradiction. Contradiction, you say? If we listen again to the conversation that was captured by the stuffed cow, you'll soon see what I mean. Can't hide that burn from me. I'm reasonably certain that what we just heard was the moment the victim was attacked. I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn mark from me. We assumed that those were the words of the killer. And where's the problem in that? Seems like a perfectly sensible assumption to me. I'm afraid not, Chairman Winner. For you see, if the victim was always wearing gloves, as you just testified, then the burn mark on her hand should not have been visible to her killer.
Objection!
You speak as if gloves can't be easily removed. She could have taken them off during the auction. But she hadn't. She was still wearing them when I changed places with her. So they must have been on her hands when she was being murdered, too. What are you saying, my dear? You do know how much trouble you're in, don't you? I'm not scared of you anymore. I have Grandma on my side now. But wait, then... Why doesn't she have the, if she was injured here... Why doesn't she have the... Why isn't she wearing gloves there? Oh, because that was after she switched places with her. I think. I don't know. Now it's time for you to pay the piper, Winner, you dang devil. I see. So you're both looking to disappear too. That can be arranged. Not this time, Excelsius Winner. The only person disappearing will be you.
Objection!
Hey, you can't talk to my dad like that. Who cares if the burn was covered up? Why does that even matter?
Objection!
Oh, it matters. Because it turns out our understanding of the burn mark on its head. What do you mean? What could the fact that the victim's burn mark was covered up possibly tell us? The murderer had a burn mark too. Victim didn't have a burn mark. There were no burn marks at all. The murderer had one as well? Think about it like this, Mr. Winner. The victim was wearing gloves, therefore the burn mark on her hand would not have been visible. In which case, whose burn mark was it that was being referenced in the recording? Somebody who, wasn't the victim? Precisely. Which can only mean that the culprit had a prominent burn mark, too. Or to put it another way, I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me. Those words were spoken not by the murderer, but by the victim. No way!
Objection!
Eustace, my boy, would you mind stepping aside for a sec? Look, Milesy, it's nice having fun with you and your little flights of fancy, but let's get serious. So the murderer had a burn mark now? Really? Where? Your little theory will either take flight or die, depending on your answer here, I'm afraid. He's not messing around. I have to figure out where that burn mark was and fast. Wonder where it could have been. All the auction people were wearing disguises, right? Yes, and each disguise was different. Yet, in spite of that, the burn mark was visible to the victim somehow. Which means... Well, shall we? Enlighten us, why don't you? Where was the murderer's burn mark? I assume you have some evidence.
Take that!
Here's my evidence. The outfit the ringleader was wearing throughout the auction. Face, it's not a tattoo. Yeah, you got it. Or rather, the outfit you were wearing, Chairman Winner. What exactly is that supposed to tell us, hmm?
Objection!
A suit, white gloves, and a mask. This disguise should have covered almost all of your skin. But according to Nurse Needler's testimony, the auctioneer's mask didn't quite cover your entire face. And not only that, she claims to have seen a tattoo on the part that was exposed. But was it a tattoo, or did she simply mistake a burn mark for one? A burn mark on the face?
Objection!
Sorry to interrupt you while you're so clearly enjoying yourself, dear boy. But I regret to inform you that none of the committee members has such a burn. Myself included, of course. But Dad, I mean... Eustace, you think you could be quiet, please? You'll be foolish on your own time later. Well, you may be an annoyance most of the time, Mr. Winner, but on this particular occasion, I'm grateful for your presence. Reaction like that from you, his son, is as good of an indicator as truth as I could have hoped for. And it gives me a much-needed confidence boost concerning another theory of mine. Namely, who that one unexplained item belongs to. What's the matter with Mr. Winter? I think he might be in shock. After all, he's usually the last to figure things out. But in this case, he seems to have gotten there all too quickly. He knows that his father is indeed the real murderer. Playing with fire for far too long, old man. You know what they say. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Hey, Robo Bunny. He's sad because he knows the truth? So, it's better not to know the truth at all? No, Kay, it's what we came here for. It doesn't matter how we get there. The important thing is finding the truth. You yourself told me that once, right when I needed to hear it the most. Now it's time for me to repay the favor and show you the truth of your innocence. I want to know, too, the truth of what really happened. So please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you show me? I very much intend to. You don't know when to give up, do you? Where's this burn, then? Perhaps you could point it out to me? But you can't, can you? Because it's nowhere to be found. Just like your evidence that I'm the killer. I can't with this game. Just like your evidence. It's like they wanted to do both. They wanted to either just like your evidence that I'm the killer, or just like the evidence that I'm the killer. And they couldn't decide, so they typed both, and then they forgot to delete the one that they decided not to go with. They just stopped proofreading this game at Case 4. I really hope it wasn't because of crunch. Yeah, hunt for contradictions all you like. You won't find any. Because he's my dad. A winner through and through.
Objection!
I understand, Mr. Winter. I completely understand why you don't want to believe it's true. But if you ignore the truth now, you'll regret it for as long as you live. Dad, what do I do? I just don't understand it. How could I have raised such an utter buffoon? You really wish to help your father, Eustace. You could try thinking on your own for once in your life, you useless nitwit. But I try all the time, Dad. All I do is try. Went to the school you wanted me to go to. I aced every test. Look at my jacket. They only give these to the valedictorian. I did everything you told me to. I worked like crazy and graduated top of my class. I tried to be just like you and win as many trophies as I could.
Objection!
You really are just a simpering simpleton, aren't you? Those tests you aced, I had the school give you perfect scores on all of them. Those debate and speech competitions you won, judges were all friends of mine. If you never even realized that much, there's no hope for you, I'm afraid. None at all. You're no son of mine. Even you must see that. Ah! Well, oh wow, he was really running off crying there. You saw him like covering his eyes. Oh, God, my own son. They all leave in the end. I mean, boo. Even when he was trying, he was failing. And he did it all for me? Then he should have tried harder. You're a disgrace. You don't deserve to be a father, and you certainly don't deserve to be chairman of this committee. Even I feel sorry for the boy now. Poor Mr. Winter. He thought he was great because his father paid for him to be great. And at the same time, he fucking hated him. So yeah, like I said, Bad Dad Investigations is the name of this game. Between him and Gusto. Push his son away. Why would fate do this? Explain yourself, Chairman Winter. Just what do you think your son is... Just what do you think your son is to treat him in such a way? Another useless pawn sounds about right. But you're one to talk, Verity. You try to worm your way into my trust by using Eustace, too. Destroys my own life. How could everyone fail me? I cannot deny it. However, I've never thought of him as a mere pawn. He may not be a naturally gifted prosecutor, but he tries. In some ways, he tries harder than anybody. That's what I've witnessed during my time with him. Yet you would call him useless? How could you?
Objection!
Oh, because he is, Verity, my girl. Utterly incapable of doing anything I ask of him. Mr. Edgeworth, I entrust my offering to the goddess, to you. So that may use it to call her final judgment unto Excelsius Winner. Thank you, Your Honor. I've been more than ready to do so. The ringleader had a visible burn mark on their face that night. Then it would follow that Chairman Winner is currently hiding that mark somehow. How exactly was he dressed during the auction? That'll be the key to solving this case at last. Now then, your answer, please. Which piece of evidence will help to reveal the burn mark on the culprit's face? This mask? No. This isn't, that's not the one he wore. I mean, the clothes box had the items in it that I'm thinking of, but...
Take that!
See if the costume's right. Take a look at this, if you would. And that's supposed to help you reveal the burn mark, is it? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Doesn't matter whether you understand it or not. What matters is... Forgive me, Mr. Edgeworth, but I don't understand either. That wasn't what I needed to hear. There's one key difference between the auctioneer and the chairman standing before us. And the burn mark we're looking for is hiding on just the other side of that difference. We simply need to find the piece of evidence that will help us reveal it, and shove it in his face. We love the bumbling underdogs in AA, though especially spiky-haired ones in blue. Yep. Now's the time, Mr. Edgeworth. Call the goddess's final judgment unto Excelsius Winner. I will, Your Honor. I've been more than ready to do so. Maybe it's all the masks.
Take that!
No.
Overruled.
Ringleader prepared wigs in order to enable their accomplice to disguise herself as Miss Ringer. One wig was straight and the other wavy. Ringer's hair was straight, so wavy was not used.
Take that!
Recall Nurse Needler's testimony, if you will. There was one thing we never quite resolved. The second wig. The one that was never used. I seem to remember it being... wavy? Oh, wig? Oh, worm. What are you two talking about? Nurse Needler apparently found some very interesting items when she went to swap places with the victim. Reading comprehension of my visual novel? Preposterous. And what did they have to do with the burn mark? What she found were two wigs. One was intended to make her look like the victim. But what was the other one for? I don't suppose it was meant to be a spare. Doesn't take a huge leap of imagination to see the truth. Compare Chairman Winner's current appearance to that of the ringleader as it was described to us. Stop it. Stop staring at me. One very prominent difference presents itself. His face, or rather, what's around it. You mean... it wasn't a wig after all? Indeed, not a wig intended to go on top of the head in any case. It was a fake beard all along, wasn't it, Excelsius Winner? This is all my own, dear boy. How very unkind of you to suggest otherwise.
Objection!
We saw how your son reacted when he realized the truth, and how he desperately tried to cover for you even in light of his realization. And yet you still feared he might expose you. So rather than take that risk, you bullied him until he couldn't take it anymore. Because he knew that your beard hides a prominent burn mark. Chairman Winner, I insist that you remove this beard. I insist that... Fuck it. Shave that man. Shave him. I insist that you remove your beard this instant. Guards, shave that man. Bald. There it is, the burn mark. Mr. Edgeworth, for bringing evil to justice before the eyes of the goddess, you have my thanks. Nutsack! No, thank you. Couldn't have done it without you. Such an Ace Attorney moment, like when people say Yakuza's serious crime drama. Excelsius winner, in the name of the goddess, I hereby pronounce my verdict. In the matter of the murder of Miss Rosie Ringer, this court finds you guilty. April 6th, 9:44 a.m. Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, Chamber. Mr. Edgeworth, I can't thank you enough. You never gave up on me, even when I gave up on myself. That was very kind of you. There's no need to thank me. As a prosecutor? Hey, that's an hour to complete the case, yep. No, as a friend, it was the least I could do. The case isn't over yet. There's still like another 20 minutes of dialogue here before the case is actually over. Mr. Edgeworth, rejoice. I've learned that the Chairman Winner has been safely delivered to the detention center. The search for the missing auction hammer continues. However, we are talking about Chairman Winner here, so it's highly likely it's already been destroyed. In addition, there is one other matter I must inform you of. According to him, the letters were not part of his plan. What? How could that be? He claims that he and Miss Needler found this letter on Miss Ringer's person, and that they found a second letter on Kay's unconscious body. From their contents, the letters seem to be ones of correspondence. They forgot the word B there. Cool. So he leapt to the conclusion that they must have been working with each other. That's quite the conclusion to jump to. As he read the letters, that's when he came up with the idea to frame Miss Faraday for Miss Ringer's murder. So he decided to place the victims in a very conspicuous place. Again, that should be victim's body. Why? How do they forget in so many? That's 2 typos in like the same 3 text boxes. How is this happening? Namely, in her left chest pocket. Sounds to me like she's just trying to make excuses for himself. Yes, I certainly thought the same. Perhaps it was some sort of last-ditch ploy on his part. But it matters not. He will answer to the goddess now. And under her scrutiny, such strategies cannot hope to succeed. He will not escape justice. And with that, one of the duties for which I have been entrusted with is complete at last. Judge Gavel, before you go, can you tell us what you know? How long ago did this come out? Is there any hope of an update with the fixed typos? This came out back in September, so I don't think they're going to be fixing the typos anytime soon. About how Chairman Winner came to murder Miss Ringer. There's more there, isn't there? Yes, and I suppose you've earned the right to hear the whole truth. Miss Ringer once had a lover, a press photographer. He was investigating the underground auctions as a freelance journalist. But before he could uncover the truth behind the auctions, he was, well, disappeared, as Winner would put it. All Miss Ringer was left with were her memories and the personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction. Unfortunately for her, her opponent struck first. I see. So that's the story behind this case. While the goddess does not condone acts of wanton vengeance, Miss Ringer's actions have exposed Chairman Winner's crimes at last. So that was your real goal. You were tasked with exposing Excelsius Winner and the corruption at the heart of the committee. Does anybody know what happened to Mr. Winner? I'm afraid I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Do you have any idea why? Probably because I wasn't there for him just now when he needed me the most. Oh, I really feel bad for him. Well, don't pity him too much. At least he knows the truth now. And no matter how hard it might be, he'll need to learn to accept it. If he can't, he'll never be able to move on with his life. Trust me. Father's influence isn't easily erased, but in time he can hopefully try and change his ways. You're right. You've gotta be. Can I change too, I wonder? Can I move on with my life? Seeing the cutscenes of Phantasy Star 1 while watching this, I suddenly really like to check out a retro visual novel from that era. So most of them are Japanese with little no translation for various reasons. Portopia, I think, has a fan translation. Are you okay, Kay? How's that head feeling? I'm fine. Thank you? I'm so sorry, Kay. You were my patient. I had a responsibility to you, and instead I let them accuse you of how. Danged right, we ain't just in the business of fixing bodies, Missy. The mind's where it all begins. You're right, Grandma. Speaking of which, how's your memory? It's like with a little more time, maybe I'll be able to remember some more? Please forgive me, but I had better be on my way. I'm to preside over the trial of Fifi Lagarde in a bit. The Bronco Knight case, huh? Who's the defense attorney? It was supposed to be Miss Ringer, but as she is no longer with us, we're still in the process of finding her replacement. Miss Ringer was scheduled to represent Warden Lagarde. And of course, until we find Eustace, there's nobody to act for the prosecution either. In any case, I must take my leave. Well, wait, please. What about Mr. Edgeworth's badge? What's going to happen to it now? With its chairman under arrest, the committee's activities have been suspended for the time being. So to answer your question, it's complicated. It's all up to the goddess now. No, can't you just say yes? But... Don't worry about it, Kay. It's a consequence of my own making. And I assume you don't mean to change your mind? Of course not. I chose the path of the truth, and I chose it willingly. With Chairman Winter of the picture, justice is in the hands of the righteous once more. If you did wish to follow the path of the prosecutor again, Mr. Edgeworth, I would be more than happy to facilitate such a decision. It's very kind of you to offer, but I can't accept your help at this time. Can't ask for my badge back when I'm not even sure if I want it anymore. I see. It seems we're destined to continue on different paths then. Well, I trust you'll keep my badge safe until they converge again. With all I have. In the meantime, I have here a token of the goddess's mercy. You may return this notebook to its rightful owner. Kay's promise notebook. Seems it was due to be sold in the auction. And with the name Kay written on the cut's cover, Chairman Winter made the connection immediately and knew who it belonged to. It was the same name as the one in the letters, after all. The letters he claimed to know nothing about. Suppose he insisted he didn't prepare them. Yes, he also had something else to say. Apparently he thought that Miss Faraday was after her notebook, and that Miss Ringer was after his life. And that respective goals were what led them to cooperate and infiltrate the auction together. Unfortunately for him, he misread the situation completely. It was all just happenstance. If Kay had known a defense attorney who was also a member of the committee, there's no way she wouldn't have told me. That just isn't like her. Your belief in her is touching. Well, the notebook did become part of Chairman Winter's cover-up scheme. It is also a treasured possession of Miss Faraday's, which is why I would like for her to have it back, as I am sure with the goddess. Thank you. I pray that it helps her recover her lost memories. It's funny, because it was a year ago now that I played, Another Code Recollection, which had, Journey into Lost Memories was the second, half of that game. Is everything alright? Judge Gavelle wanted me to return something important to you. The meme image where he's holding out the paper that says L on it. Where he's handing out the L's. Isn't that... Always greet people with a smile, even people you don't know. Never cry in front of strangers. Daddy, I wrote them all down, Daddy. Yeah, I'm gonna keep all my promises. Be a real hero when I grow up, just like you. Oh wait, I forgot to write one down, the most important promise of all. Promise number 5. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. I remembered it just how you said it, and now I'll never forget it. Always try your hardest to learn about things you don't understand. That's right. I have to try. I'm Kay Faraday. The great thief will do anything to get her hands on the truth. Second Yatagarasu, an assistant to Mr. Edgeworth. Kay, is that really you? Can't say I'm not a little bit embarrassed, but... yeah, I'm back. I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Edgeworth. You never stopped helping me, even when I was totally lost and couldn't remember anything. Thank goodness, you certainly seem to be back. Kay, so this is the real you, huh? Welcome back. It's good to know you're better. I can sleep easy now. Now that you've found it, don't you dare go losing that memory of yours again, young lady, you hear? Miss Needler, Dr. Hertz, thanks a lot for looking after me. And if you really are better, how about you get out of them danged hospital duds? Oh yeah, I washed all your clothes for you. Here. Thought they were with Detective Gumshoe. He handed them over to us after they came back from forensics. And did he happen to mention if forensics found anything of note? I didn't ask. Anyway, never mind that now. Put them on, Kay, I want to see. Wait, what about her bandages? Surely it's too soon to remove them. Oh, it's probably fine. She may have taken a big old bump to the head, but she really wasn't hurt otherwise. But then why all the bandages in the first place? Prevention is better than cure. A stitch in time saves 9. Those are just a few of my mottos. Both of which sound like painfully annoying practices for your patients. Okay, Kay, transformation time. Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. Fits like a stolen glove. That smile suits you better, too. And as it always did. Thanks to you too, Miss Karma. I'm so glad you showed up when you did. I simply came when Scruffy asked me to. I'm sure he'll be very happy to see that you're back to your old self, too. Speaking of Gummy, where is he? Who knows? Perhaps the well of his devotion ran dry when a certain someone threw away his badge. Detective Gumshoe. Anyway, I have to be going, and I'll be taking those two with me. Wait, what's going to happen to them? Acting as an accomplice in a murder and forging an autopsy report 18 years ago. Their crimes can't be allowed to go unpunished. But the fact that Excelsius Winter coerced them into cooperating will, of course, be taken into account. Don't you worry about us, Kay. As long as Grandma and me are together, we'll be alright. Left to finish shitting, what'd you miss? Jesus. And so so you went to the bathroom earlier before the stream. And then you stopped, came back, and then you left again to finish going to the bathroom. How? How do you manage to do that? Take care, Kay Faraday, until we meet again. Magic. So, Kay, I know you only just got your memory back, but I need to ask you some questions. Sure, ask away. What happened to the day you lost your memory? What were you doing? Let's see. Somebody asked me to meet them at Gourd Lake. Not the big building. Never do the number 1, number 2 combo. But I didn't know who it was. So there I was, just looking up at the moon when... somebody in a red raincoat started walking toward me. They must have drugged me somehow, because that's when I fell unconscious. What? I'm not sure I follow. Kay was at Gourd Lake looking up at the moon. Anyway, when I came to, I was on the roof of this building. I was in a daze and stumbling up there when... I saw the person in the red raincoat again, but they were lying on the ground. I was so surprised I stumbled backward. And then I was falling, and everything went dark. When I came to the second time, I couldn't remember anything. The person in the red raincoat, who in the world were they? I'm sure they were walking in midair. Thinking about it's making my head hurt. Just breathe, Kay. You only just got your memory back, so you're still a little confused. I imagine the root cause of your confusion is... the name of the promise notebook, no. Your fall down the hatch. Your memories of the 2 different locations. I imagine things are all mixed up in your mind because you were at the Gourd Lake 1 minute, and then at the top of the big building the next. And because you saw the moon in both locations, your mind blended your memories of the 2 together. Huh? But those are 2 totally different places. I know I was pretty out of it, but I don't think I could have gotten them confused that easily. I believe these things on the roof may have made you more likely to become confused.
Take that!
There are 2 key similarities between the scene down by Gourd Lake and up here at the big building. Cherry blossoms and food stands. Wait, you're right! Those similarities are what caused your memories of the both places to overlap. The person in the red raincoat wasn't walking in midair. They were walking towards you from across the park. But in your blurry memories, that same sight played out over the viewing platform instead. No way. Who steals a great thief's memories, huh? That's just cheating. Even still, this doesn't answer the question of who attacked Kay in the park. Was it the person in the red raincoat she saw? Do you hear that? Sounds like it's coming from up in the storeroom. Come on, let's go take a look. Well, Howie! I smell another scoop in the offing. You're still here? April 6th, 9:53 a.m., 51st floor. Storeroom. It's coming from this little gadget here, Mr. Edgeworth. This transceiver. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. It's still going. I'm no good with technology. Come on, you have to pick up. Fine, I'll do it. Hey, this is Edgeworth. Kay, if you could refrain from answering strange calls for me. Mr. Edgeworth, I presume. I know that voice. Shelley Day Killer. Congratulations on another case solved. Yet I can't truly say it's been fully resolved, can you? I'm sure you've noticed by now that there was a mastermind at work orchestrating the entire incident. How do you even know about this case? That's not what's important right now. Let's focus on this certain individual for the time being, shall we? We stand technology illiterate middle-aged men. Day Killer, yeah. He's the killer. I have indeed been wondering myself if somebody else could have been involved here. If not, how are we to explain the piece of evidence that proves so damning to Kay's case? No way, an evil mastermind, but who? Who indeed? Perhaps you could share your thoughts. What is the evidence in question that points to somebody else's involvement?
Take that!
The letter Kay supposedly wrote to the victim. Yeah, I don't remember even ever writing that. So who did? Who would prepare such a thing? I know I'm not the only one who would like to know. And how do we know it wasn't you? Now why would I do a thing like that, I believe the truth can only fully come to light in a court of law. But since you've had your badge revoked, that is no longer an option. So how will it all end? I, for one, will be watching from the sidelines with interest. He even knows about my badge. Oh, and one last thing. I do hope you won't betray my trust in you. Now, I bid you farewell. What the heck did he mean by the case hasn't been fully resolved? And why is he so interested in us anyway? Ugh, everything's just one giant ball of mysteries. Seems we've only scratched the surface of this case. But even without my badge, I'm going to carry on doing what I can. However this ends, one thing's for certain. Come what may, I will expose the truth. Turnabout Forsaken. The end. Cool. Well, that's case 4 down. Pretty good, right? And ends on a nice cliffhanger to roll right into this last case. This last case is an absolute beast, by the way. This is like this is definitely going to take a while to get through, and it is absolutely amazing, by the way. Before I do that, though, just noticed. Ooh, this will be fun, yeah. Take a look at all the fun new characters I unlocked. This Franziska.
Objection!
Oh, she's shorter. She's shorter in the original art style. Look at his glasses. Look how big his goggles are. Also, in the original, he had the Prosecutor's badges on both sides of his jacket. In the revised version, he only has them on one. because his sprites didn't have them on, his confrontation sprites did not have them on the one side.
Objection.
This is the only game in the series outside of Japan to have a number in the title. Yeah, I think so. Because, Great Ace Attorney, I think is just... No, Great Ace Attorney has a 2 in it. Guards, take that man's pixels.
Objection.
%71 done. There have been so many edits of this picture of Edgeworth holding that. Like, he holds out the paper that just says, like, L on it. For when you gotta hand someone the L. A lot of illustrations in this last chapter. So what's left? Complete episode 5, unlock everything in the gallery, get all other accolades, examine the gate twice to see a familiar face, saying the worst possible thing to Eustace during his mind chess match. Okay. Why does his face look like it's a 3D model? Wait, what? In that image? It's got kind of that cel-shaded look to it. That cute picture of him just sipping tea is everything to you. Yeah, I really like it. I love the sketch style for this. Did I look at all the documents? Yeah, I did. I haven't listened to all the music in the collection yet. Cool. Alright. Well, I'll be right back, and we'll start Case 5.